Hi, I'm Riki Neill from RNN Communications. In this video, we're going to talk about PR, creativity, some brilliant campaigns, and why I'm allergic to staff churn.
So welcome to ProfileTree TV, and today we're joined by Riki Neill from RNN Communications. So thank you very much for coming in today.
Pleasure.
And adding some colour to the studio. So amazing. So before we even start, we're going to have to talk about what you've brought in. So tell us about your tree and why you are attracted to it.
Okay, no problem. Well, at RNN Communications, we're a creative bunch and I like colour. I'm attracted to colour. So a lot of our work involves creativity and props. So when I was thinking about this, I thought, well, how could it be more reflective of our business? So this is from our office. It is a former Christmas tree. And as we were coming to ProfileTree, it seems pretty apt. And this is a candle. We have our own candle range. So it's called Connect. And it had just launched in December. So we use our candle collection for client gifts, to connect with our stakeholders, our friends in the business. So yeah, we give them out throughout the year.
Wow, and how original and unusual is that? So that leads us nicely into a little bit about your background and the company itself. So who are you and what do you do?
Okay, well this all probably makes sense now when I tell you about my background. So I have a degree in fine art, so fine and applied art. I studied textile design at the Art College in Belfast, and my thesis was titled "Is Advertising Art?" So whenever I was at the Art College, I was very much on the commercial side of things. My degree show was billboards and light boxes, and I got it sponsored. So only when I was 18 I was knocking on people's doors, and I was never going to be an artist or an art teacher, so I really wanted to look at advertising as a medium. So following the Art College, I headed to the University of Ulster to study communications, advertising and PR. So I did a master's in that, and at the same time found a role in a PR company. So on my holidays and during the week on one day, I would have headed into the PR agency called Life Communications.
Amazing, excellent, and here we are today.
And here we are.
Brilliant. And what services do you offer at the moment, and who do you normally work with in your company?
Okay, so I founded the company about 6 years ago. My background is big brand work. So we would work with a lot of food brands, food, retail, hospitality brands. One of our largest clients in Ireland has 200 stores. We look after their marketing remit, so we help to form their marketing plan for the year. We create the plan and then we implement it. That plan involves everything from sponsorship to partnerships with Special Olympics Ireland, to shopper promotions, to trade campaigns. So it's a full remit. We also work with trade events, so business to business shows, including IFEX in Northern Ireland and KTEX in Dublin. We work on bridal events in Dublin. We deliver social media services for many clients, and we also have a renewables division. So that's a bit of an interest of mine. Green technology, so we've done solar panel work, work on heat pumps, we've done product launches, worldwide product launches. So yeah, that's an area that is growing, and we would hope to grow that business, but we have it's really interesting sector to be involved in.
Incredible, yeah. So how hot is it now, and everyone's focus is going that direction, which is great. And you're probably driving our attention that way as well, which is even better. So you think it's going to keep expanding then, the renewables and that sector as a business model?
Yes, as there are objectives for each country to meet. We are all obliged to help meet those objectives. So yes, I do believe that we can all make a difference, and that sector is really innovative. They're doing some extremely interesting things. We were involved way back when we used to, 10 years ago, I was talking about rainwater harvesting to people. So the sector has peaked and troughs based on things like government grants. However, so it has grown. I would say the growth at the moment is quite organic and steady rather than peaking.
Amazing. And you know, we think of the simple things we're doing with the levy on plastic bags and through to what we see with the plastic waste in our seas. You know, people are so aware. And in education as well, kids are getting educated all about recycling. We're getting tortured at home with putting the things in the right boxes, which is really good. So it's very interesting to meet someone that's working in that niche and helping promote it for companies as well. So what pulled you into PR then? What attracted you to PR and communication and helping brands get their message out there?
Okay, well, I have to be honest, I hadn't a clue what PR was. So whenever I got a job in a PR agency, I thought, I have no idea what I'm going into here. But it became apparent really quite early on. So I was just about to study a master's in communications, advertising and PR. I thought my future was in advertising. But it really became apparent quite early that PR involves a huge skill set, and one of those being creativity. So many of those skills I have, many I've had to learn. PR is also very structured. You have to be extremely organised. Those are all traits of mine that I have been learning. The creativity is much easier for me. It's about big ideas. It's about client buy-in. And I guess as I have progressed in my career, the value that we deliver to businesses is the most important thing for me.
Amazing.
So.
Yeah, and so you lead with the creativity. That's your unique selling point.
Yeah, creativity and ideas. Without that, we can't create anything, and we can't deliver anything. We need to set ourselves apart. And one of the things I value within our agency, and I look for in clients, is a partnership approach. It's really important to me. So many of those clients that we would have worked with over the years, I have worked with for 10 years or more. Brand managers who have moved from company to company continue to employ RNN Communications, and I believe that's because of the value we bring. So it's not solely just down to PR. Quite often we have phone calls about naming new products or about crisis in the company, about internal comms. So we believe we bring value to a business.
Incredible.
We're there to be used, and that's whenever I get the most enjoyment and fulfilment from any client brief.
Amazing. So I can see that your clients see you as someone that's there to help in
the go-to.
times of need. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we're happy to be that. That's when we can add value. We do not want to be the press release people. I am not the press release person.
You're kidding me. I was going to ask you to do. I'm joking. I'm getting in trouble.
Only if it leads to much more.
Yeah, that's it.
But PR is so much more than one piece of copy.
It's amazing, yeah. Because again, I know we've talked about before, PR can be in our field in online marketing. We would have used PR a long time ago, years and years ago, as a great way to build traffic and build links. But that all changed, and actually I can see a transformation of PR today is totally different in my view where it was many years ago, and it is down to the creativity and the services that are being offered, and it's like an industry reborn and flourishing again. And
it really is.
And do you think in the I spend maybe too much as geeking out too much time on YouTube and all these places looking at some amazing adverts and some. Do you think creativity is so important then when brands are trying to promote the message to an audience?
Yes, I mean it would be dependent on brand, but there's room for creativity no matter whether it's a corporate client or a consumer client. We all want cut through. We want our message to be heard. People are bombarded by messages every day, and it's the creativity that counts and the ideas.
Amazing. And you think it's, as you say, we've got so much information.
Yeah.
To stand out now, it's well, I think it's so hard.
Yeah,
do you think it'll get harder and harder and you have to be more and more creative?
Absolutely, as there's increasing numbers of channels available for people, and also I think there's a bit of a movement at the moment towards reducing time on channels and people being a little bit more mindful of their mental health, which will so it's the creativity, it's the ideas that are memorable that count, and it's also about really working an idea. So a really great idea that's just on a TV campaign, that will of course benchmark in some for some KPIs, but there's so much more you could do with that. A really brilliant idea should be brought through the line, from social to online activation to experiential marketing, right through to PR. We want our clients to live and breathe ideas.
I think you're right. It's the multi-channel approach, because you're getting one demographic on TV, but so many people don't maybe watch as much TV. And I know in Northern Ireland it's less and less, but on YouTube, on social media, on websites, in the paper, it's like you want a multi-channel approach everywhere. So very interesting. So we've a lot in common with Green.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is good. So would you have any favourite campaigns that you've run or seen, or marketing, advertising, promotion that you thought, wow, that's impressive?
Yeah. Well, I have loads of campaigns.
Brilliant.
So one campaign that we worked on, I was thinking back over this and thinking, you know, what were the really brilliant campaigns, the standout ones? And one campaign that we worked on a number of years ago when I just started the agency was for Ocean Spray. So they're the cranberry juice, they the market leader in cranberry juice in terms of branded product. And for Ocean Spray, the brief for Ireland was to ensure that consumers understood that Ocean Spray was a co-op and how cranberries were harvested. So that was the brief. Thankfully, we had a brilliant marketing director we reported into who was able to say to us, that's your brief, you come up with the plan. We delivered the plan, he said, go for it. At the time, Ireland was running this initiative called The Gathering. So we used The Gathering as an opportunity to bring one of the farmers in America, one of the co-op of farmers, home. So we brought them to Ireland. We traced back their roots. I somehow or other managed to convince this hotel in Dublin called the Marion, which has a beautiful pool in it, to permit me to float 300,000 cranberries in the pool. And the idea behind the floating of the cranberries is that's how they're harvested. So cranberries have little air pockets in them. They grow on vines and wetlands. Wetlands are flooded. Cranberries rise to the top. So this was the idea behind the stunt, I guess, in the Marion Hotel. We then had a trade dinner for Tesco, so we could explain to them about the harvesting. We invited the American ambassador. I believe the deputy ambassador attended, the chargé d'affaires. And it was a brilliant illustration of how you take an idea like The Gathering in this instance and how we make it work for a client, Ocean Spray. We've developed quite a few other ideas for them that illustrated the same point, but involved things like creating a show garden of bloom at one best in class. We had PR photo calls that appeared everywhere. We had the Taoiseach visit, the Minister for Food, the President of Ireland, tasting sessions, cocktails developed by the Irish Bartender of the Year. So it's really to develop one idea and deliver it right across the board.
Wow, okay.
So Ocean Spray's a favourite.
That's a very good, wow, I'm amazed that I didn't realise that, you know, I know now all about cranberries. So
you do indeed.
So so you, again we hear a term called newsjacking, I guess, or that was event jacking.
Yeah.
So you used something that, of course, even I know, the Gathering, of course, bringing people home. You leverage that, and is that something that can be done, or you recommend doing for a
Yes, I mean we don't work in a silo, so any of our ideas have to run through the media agenda, what's happening in the big wide world. So. And in that instance, The Gathering was very much topical. And obviously, you know, in America, most people can trace back some sort of ancestry to Ireland. So we were able to do that. But so yeah, tying into the news agenda is really good. But you can create ideas in isolation also that will just work for a number of reasons. So 2 other examples I'll give you briefly.
Brilliant, yeah, please.
One of them is on a different end of the scale. It was a brief for a bar in East Belfast called Horatio Todd's. Brilliant company. We do a lot of work with Stephen McGorian, who runs the company. And the brief was launch bottomless brunch in Northern Ireland. So it's actually quite a difficult brief because it's a very commercial message. Yeah. You know, in many areas that would just be an ad. Let's take out some ads. So we thought, right, how can we do this and get some cut through? So what we decided to do was focus on this bottomless brunch. And there was an image that had appeared recently of Kim Kardashian that broke the internet. So it was of her quite naked, with her bottom being very prominent. So we decided we would recreate this image with a blogger from Northern Ireland, Tiffany Bryan, who had a huge following, and her following would have been pretty targeted to our target audience, very similar. So we created this image. That was what our whole theming was based around. We had a blogger brunch for the first event. We had media invites to it. And we, for me, one of the reasons that campaign was successful is the image is still really awesome. But more than that, the bottomless brunch was booked out for 2 months following the launch. And it still rolls today, which is 18 months on. So that to me is a really good campaign. And then another campaign that we work on, which is one of our most special projects, is for a client called Gala, and it's a partnership with Special Olympics Ireland. So we're on year 5 of that partnership. We are just about to launch their campaign, which will be ahead of the World Summer Games in Abu Dhabi. So Special Olympics is an organisation that we identified that Gala could be a good partner with because they have 10,000 athletes all across Ireland. Our client Gala has 200 stores all across Ireland. So the partnership it's more than just a sponsorship. We develop radio campaigns, theming. We have a theme called #Gala Special Moment that has been running for 5 years. We have branding of stadiums, branding of athletes, branding of their friends, TV promotions. It is really a huge campaign that is a great privilege for us to work on. So more than anything, we love working on it too, and it really delivers. It's won a couple of national awards in Ireland, and we do feel very privileged to be at any of the events.
Incredible. So wow, so some examples. So working with companies like this, so the culture in your company must be very unique and fun. I guess is it all like this and creativity everywhere?
There's no point in me telling you it's not, because it is. It is a really fun place to work. That was one of the things whenever I started RNN Communications. I wanted to create somewhere I wanted to work. We work 5 days a week, long hours some points, and it was really important to me that we created a culture where there was no Sunday night fear. People wanted to come into work. They loved the space. So we probably punch a bit above our weight in terms of our office interiors. They're awesome. That's a bit of a sideline of mine, interiors. And it's full of colour. We have huge, large heads in the office that double as plant pots. Our office is actually an eco office. It's a timber-clad office that we built. So it's a really great environment, and it's a really nice place to work.
Incredible. Sounds amazing. So we're going to have to check out some photos of this. That's it done. So, and how do you motivate your employees? And I guess providing something like this is definitely a good step in the right direction.
Yeah. Back to the culture. From day one, that was the thing I was focused on. Happy team, happy clients. And I actually read a report, I think it was yesterday, about client satisfaction. And there was 3 reasons why clients are not happy with their agency. But the number 1 reason was a revolving churn of staff. I'm allergic to a churn of staff. Can't happen. We put a lot of energy into making sure we recruit the right people and then we keep the right people. So we've an ethos that the team comes first always. So in the agency, I guess, we do things differently. My team set their own hours, for instance. So yes, we need to be there during the day, but they can start anywhere between 8 and 10, and then their finishing hours are reflective of that. There's flexible working; they can work from home. We leave early on a Friday. These things are all, I guess, they've all been introduced to ensure that we enjoy our work. We don't not take our work seriously, we do very much so. And when the extra hours are required, we put those in. Plus we have multiple social media accounts that we run. So that really is a 24-hour job. So I like to give back to the staff, and that they know whenever they're really busy when they expect the hours. I don't need to tell them that we have to put in additional effort, or we work weekends, you know. So if we can leave early on a Friday, let's do that. The other reason is a bit of a commercial reason. I believe that if the team and I don't have a life outside of work, we can't inform our campaigns. We're in the consumer arena. We work with brands. We're talking about events. We're talking about concerts, what people are eating, doing, enjoying at the moment. If we're not enjoying any of those things, we're out of the zone. So we need to be in the zone, going to the latest restaurants, enjoying the latest, night out in Belfast. And so it works. It's working great.
Incredible. So we've something there common. I have to say, I don't like losing staff. The doors are locked, so no one.
Yes, well, that will be my.
But you don't lose staff, yeah.
No,
so
that's what I'm going to next.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, everything else fails and the door's locked. I somehow doubt you'll have to do that, but it sounds incredible environment. And then the companies then. So that's the staff and the culture. The companies then that you work with. Who would be your traditional company, or what size, or what industry? We talked about food, but is there what's the niches?
Well, we do work for quite a vast sector, or a cross sector of companies. So yes, a lot of food, drink, retail. So we work with a number of brands, including companies like Eat Natural, Fisherman's Friend. I mentioned Gala previously. We work on the corporate side. We work with accountancy practices and financial advisors, healthcare providers. We do some work in pharmaceuticals. And we have our renewables division, and then in the B2B world and trade events. So it is quite vast. One of the reasons for that being is that I'm basically interested in everything. The principles of PR remain the same. regardless of your product. A bit like video, you know. So if you can bring a problem to me, or your product or service that you need launched, or a market, you know, you're entering the market and you need a market entry program, it really doesn't matter if you're a pet food store or if you're an optical retailer. We can deliver for that for you, and we're interested in it. And that's half the battle.
Incredible. So it's the creative,
It's a creative process. It doesn't
exactly
matter.
just the different niches, and,
Yeah.
and we'd be the same exactly. It's the same principles. You want to get people to see your brand. It's the same it's principles, but actually any niche. So it's very interesting, amazing.
Yeah, so the sizes of companies would really go from SMEs. I love working with SMEs. I love working with startups. I actually have a meeting later today with a startup that we worked with 4 years ago. They've just received 1.5 million in financing. I mean, that really makes it. I love those stories. Yeah. I'm more than happy to come in there now and see what we can do with them. We worked with them back when launching the product. So it goes from startups right through to Irish companies and Irish brands through to multinationals.
Incredible. And so you have a broad base of customers from Belfast all the way down all over Ireland?
Yes, about 50% of our work's in Dublin.
Incredible. So, and 70% of ours export, as we're saying, so it's amazing. Yeah, so not just here, but international export as well. So
which is great, and it's the Irish work, and we have our clients in Northern Ireland, of course. It's not just a bolt-on. I spend half of my week in Dublin. We know the media very well in Dublin. We know what's happening there. So it's not that we say we deliver the odd bit of Irish work. We actually are in Dublin quite a bit, delivering 50% of our work for clients. So, you know, you've got to invest time in the marketplace that you're in. So I'm willing to do that.
Incredible. So very good. So in regards, anyone watching this or interested in hiring a PR agency, what would be the advice or questions they should ask, or would you give them any advice who to find the perfect match? Because as you mentioned, there was a partnership that you're looking for, and ideally they should be looking for as well. So would you have any advice to a potential client that's looking to hire an agency? What should they be asking or looking for?
I think that you should certainly have a look around, look at companies' websites, get a feel for the company. You should indeed speak to a couple of the principals of those agencies, but you must meet them. You must understand the culture of the agency and see if they fit for you. There is many agencies in Northern Ireland and in Ireland doing exceptional work, but it's about finding the right agency for your business, your brand, someone that you feel that you can trust and rely on. The other key question I would be asking is who is working on the business. So if you're going to give your brand or your company to an agency to manage, especially with social media, which isn't entirely valued by many people, but when you think about it, you're actually handing your reputation online to someone. You want to understand who's delivering that work for you. So I would want to know who the team is and then understand their approach.
Incredible. So really good advice. So thank you for that. And then we were talking about you have some amazing resources and content on your website. So if anyone was wanted to understand more about PR and communications and they weren't ready to bite the bullet just yet, would you have any advice? Obviously, check out your website and consume some content, but would you have any general advice about PR? Does every company, should they all invest in PR?
Every company probably thinks that they need PR and want PR, but the difference is, will every company invest in PR? So everyone loves a PR company, but when, just like everyone wants a website, you know, but when it comes to it, you've got to set aside the budget. You know, ideas are our currency, our time is our currency. So PR is like every other service. Think about your budget before you meet with the company so that it's very clear, and that will help to outline the brief. We can work on budgets from 1,000, 1,500 quid to £1 million. So, and the results will be reflective of the input of budget. So really do consider your budget. I think that in terms of our own company, our website is rnncommunications.com. We have multiple social links which would give a good idea for the personality of the business. So we're on Instagram and Twitter at RNN Comms and on Facebook at RNN Communications. I tweet personally, so I'm at Riki Neill. And also on LinkedIn, we do multiple articles. So there's a whole wealth of resource out there. But most importantly, if you're interested in PR, meet meet the company, meet the person, because quite often people don't quite understand what PR can do for them, and they don't know what services they need. They know that their company isn't well known enough, or that they're launching a new product, or they have a big invention that they're about to bring to market, but they don't know how to do that. And a good PR company should steer that conversation.
Incredible. Excellent. So that's gold again. And my last question, when I've got you in the hot seat, what would be the process? So if someone does approach a PR agency like yourself, what would be the process then that you take? So you talked about the initial conversation, and hopefully there's a connection, and you find a rapport, and you think, okay, this person understands me, and I like them as well. So what happens after that then?
Okay, so it is best to meet in person. So we can have a quick conversation, absolutely, on the phone, but it really is best to meet in person, because you'll pick up on body language and things that you just don't get on the phone. At that point, we would outline what we need from you to create some sort of a plan, and we'll also give you an indication of fees. We very rarely create in-depth plans without an agreement on work. We have case studies, we have testimonials, we have all of those things. You're in good hands. And again, it comes back to our values. That's back to this partnership approach and the trust. That's our word. We have a body of work. We don't want to create detailed plans for people that are never going to work with us. So if we can get initial buy-in, we're more than happy to create a detailed plan based on the conversation and the brief. And then that can be modified, of course. And it will be modified, and every good plan should, as you go throughout the year.
Wow. Okay, so you change the plan then a few times?
Yeah. So we'll have a set plan. For most clients, for a retainer client for 12 months, we will have a set plan, but that should be modified, and everything should not be in stone. Things change in a business, priorities change, so we need to have that flexibility, and we need to review what we've been doing before. With regards to our approach, I have mentioned retainer models, year-long contracts. That's not the only way we work. We, a bit like our agency culture and values, we are quite flexible in our approach. So we work on projects, we work on retainer models, we work on varying budgets, we operate in sterling and in euro. So it really does take that first initial meeting to understand what that brief is, and then we can nail down the plan.
Incredible. So basically fully flexible to what the client needs, and incredible. So the client
small agencies, agile.
I like that. And then we talked about the 12-year plan, and do you often see loads of crises that need to be dealt with? Are companies good at dealing with crises?
We do come across crises. I enjoy crisis management. The reason being is I can see the value that we can bring. At the time, you may not enjoy it so much, but we're seeing more and more crises on social media that can be brought upon by the perfect storm, really, where you can have, a lot of people on at one time, a customer complaint. It needs to be picked up quickly before it starts to snowball, and then it's all about how you deal with it. And sometimes being a partner to your client but not working internally really has its benefits. You see things slightly differently. So yes, we have dealt with multiple crises on social media, some of them vast. We have clients with very large audiences, and it can snowball so quickly, and it's all about your time and your response and how precise your response is. Other client, yes, and crisis management has been it's evident in every company, and it runs throughout my career, from crisis problems at store openings to HR problems that escalate to, you're a very lucky company if you avoid all crisis.
Of course, and there's always, as you say, there's always something.
There's always something.
And then you've got social media as well that can time it as well. So all loads of fun. So my last question, and leave you alone today. So thank you very much for all the questions and answers. So where do you see the future PR and companies going, and what's the future for your own company then within that?
It's a really, really exciting time to be in PR. Yes, it can feel a bit overwhelming. There's so many things happening and so many platforms changing, but you either push against it or go with it. So we're on the go with it and see where this leads us to. For my own personal business, we want to bring more skills and talent into the agency. We want to at least double in size in the next 3 years. So I'm ambitious. We have growth plans, and we are about to launch a new service actually in the next few weeks. So yeah, it's about staying one step ahead of the curve, but never forgetting you need to deliver value for your clients. That's why we should never be pigeonholed as the press release people. That's only one small tool in a huge arsenal.
Yeah, incredible. I've learned the value of creativity now in press release and communication, so I can actually see it. And the examples were amazing. So, and doubling in size, amazing. I love that. So, but I can understand why. Understand why. So again, thank you very much for coming in today. It was really, really special, and I learned a lot, and hopefully the people watching did as well. So just to double check, your website address is rnncommunications.co.uk.
.com.
My apologies.
No problem.
And we'll have the real link, the .com, in the description below and in the article below. So is that the best place for people to reach out and connect via the website?
Yes, rnncommunications.com, or they can email me at Riki. It's Riki. It's not short for anything. Riki at rnncommunications.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for your time. Really appreciate it. Excellent. And thank you for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out the links below and visit Riki and see what our team are doing, and see if you can find some photos of their amazing office. This is Kieran from ProfileTree, the content marketing team here in Innovation Factory in Springfield Road. We'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Thank you.